This week, the Texans take on the LA Rams in preseason week 3. I'm pretty sure everyone knows preseason week 3 is pretty much a dress rehearsal. Starters play for about a whole half or maybe a little bit less than that, but starters play a good chunk. Bill O'Brien already said everyone that's healthy will play. So that means we'll probably see Watt. We'll see Tyrann Mathieu for the first time. We'll see Whitney Merciless. We'll probably see Clowney. We'll see DJ Reader, Bernard McKinney, Jonathan Joseph, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller. They will all probably play. And for the Rams, everyone's probably going to play as well, except for one name. And I'm a little disappointed that he's not playing, and that's Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald is still holding out, so he's not going to play, which is a good and a bad thing. Good because, we don't want Aaron Donald breathing on Deshaun Watson's neck. And bad because it would have been a good test for our offensive line. But without further ado, let's get into some of these things to watch for. First thing, interior offensive line, which is Senio Calameti, Nick Martin, and Zach Fulton versus Ndamukong Suh and Michael Brockers. Just because Aaron Donald isn't playing doesn't mean that the Rams don't have any talented players in that defensive line. They still have Ndamukong Suh, who they just signed, and Michael Brockers, who are both in the upper tier of defensive linemen. So definitely look out for that. And then, the next thing, of course, you got Seantrell Henderson and Julian Davenport. Can they continue to perform at the level they've been performing so far in preseason? Hopefully. The Rams don't really have that great of edge rushers, so I don't think Davenport and Henderson will really be all that tested. But, regardless, seeing them do good is promising. They have to continue to play how they've been playing. Next thing, Deshaun Watson versus that Rams secondary. That Rams secondary is pretty talented. They have Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, Roby Coleman, and LaMarcus Joyner. So that secondary is really talented, and it's led by Wade Phillips. So they're going to be playing disciplined. They're going to be playing good. Let's see if they can slow down Watson. Let's see if Deshaun Watson can pick them apart. Because if we're being honest, looking at this Rams secondary, this is the second best secondary we'll face all year. The only one better is Jacksonville. But other than that, we're not going to play a secondary that's better than the Rams. So definitely look out for that. Another thing to note, this is going to be Watson's first game with Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins since, he got hurt. So, we get to see that. It should be fun, hopefully. It should be fun to watch. And then the next thing to watch, our secondary versus Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp. That's probably one of the best wide receiver trios we'll face all season. So our secondary will definitely be tested. I'm not sure if Kevin Johnson will be back in time or not. So that's something to definitely factor in, because if Kevin Johnson doesn't play, that means D Virgin is probably going to be out there with the ones. And if he's out there with the ones, then he's obviously going to get shredded. So definitely look up for that matchup. And the next thing, can the Texans' talented front contain Todd Gurley? Todd Gurley is one of the better running backs in the league, top 3, top 5. And their offensive line is, I'd say, above average. So can the Texans' talented front contain Todd Gurley? The next thing, the run game. Last week versus the Niners, the run game was atrocious. Was that because the Niners just have that much of a talented front, or was it just the Texans' own fault? If it continues here, it might be a Texans issue. If it doesn't, then I guess it was just that the Niners were so talented. But to be fair, the Rams are also pretty talented when it comes to their D-line. So it's going to be pretty hard to judge them. Pretty much see if it improved. Lamar Miller looked good week 1 against the Chiefs. Not so good week 2 versus the Niners. You had Alfred Blue looking absolutely terrible. He's been looking terrible this preseason. Can Alfred Blue finally show something this preseason? Because last year, I thought Alfred Blue looked pretty good. And so far, judging by the preseason, it looks like Alfred Blue has regressed quite a lot. And of course, you got Tyler Ervin, who has been hurt throughout his career. Year 1, he wasn't really all that good. Year 2, he was hurt. So can Tyler Ervin show something? Is he going to make the team? I'm pretty sure he will, but it'd be nice to see Tyler Ervin do something before the season starts. And then you got Tremaine Pope. Tremaine Pope had a pretty good week 1 versus the Chiefs. Week 2 wasn't as impressive, but again, run game as a whole just struggled with that game. So let's see if Tremaine Pope can do something and get a spot on the team. Next thing, Jordan Akins and Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas last week, he was kind of just in there as a blocker, same thing as week 1 versus the Chiefs. They've just pretty much been using him as a blocker. I would really like the Texans to use Jordan Thomas as a receiver this game. I kind of want to see what he's got. And same thing with Jordan Akins. Last week he didn't do anything. I'm not sure if that was the Niners just focusing in on the tight ends or the Texans just going with a different game plan for the tight ends. Hopefully this week we can see the tight ends in action. Next thing, J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Whitney Merciless. If these guys can stay healthy, we already know what they can do. They're gonna destroy everything in their way. How will they look coming back from injuries? Because even Clowney, even though he wasn't hurt last year, is coming off an off-season surgery. Of course, you got Watt and Merciless getting their first real in-game action since that Chiefs game when they got hurt. So how will they look? Next thing, Jonathan Joseph. Okay, early on during training camp, Jonathan Joseph was getting embarrassed. It then got better. He wasn't really getting embarrassed anymore. And now it lately came out that Jonathan Joseph feels rejuvenated due to the Texans' new training staff. So how would Jonathan Joseph look? Is he going to be back to 2011 through 2016 form, or is he going to look how he did in 2017? And then we got Benardrick McKinney. In 2015, his rookie year, and 2016, his second year, McKinney looked amazing. 2017, he looked a little slower. He looked sloppy. So it's reported that McKinney is in fact in better shape this season, back to 2015-2016 form. This is McKinney's first game action of the season, so how will McKinney look? And then we got Tyrann Mathieu. I'm about 100% sure Tyrann Mathieu is going to play this game, so it's going to be the first time we get to see Tyrann Mathieu playing with the Texans. So I'm definitely excited for that. Definitely keep an eye on him, see what he does. And then the next thing, Duke Ejiofor. As you guys know, Duke Ejiofor has kind of been the star of the preseason, I guess. He's been everywhere, making plays all over the place, special teams and defense. Can Duke Ejiofor do that for the third game in a row? Let's wait and see. Hopefully he can, because the guy's fun to watch. The next thing, Justin Reed. We're probably going to see Justin Reed for a good chunk of time. Yes, Tyrann Mathieu is probably going to play, and Kareem Jackson, I'm pretty sure, is starting over him. So I'm pretty sure we'll see a good chunk of Justin Reed kind of as that box safety, perhaps. And then later on, when Tyrann Mathieu goes and sits down, we'll probably get him at deep safety. Not too sure what they're going to do with Justin Reed, but whatever they do with Justin Reed, in this game, I feel like it's going to be a preview of what they're going to do with him during the regular season. And the next thing, Brandon Weeden. Can Brandon Weeden look like Brandon Weeden from week 1 versus the Chiefs? Because last week versus the Niners, he looked pretty bad. Like a guy that probably shouldn't be playing in the NFL. So, can Brandon Weeden look like the guy he did in week 1? I'm not sure. We definitely have to keep an eye on that. And his favorite target, Sammy Coates, did suffer a concussion. So, I'm not sure if Coates will play. So, it might make Brandon Weeden look worse. So, hopefully Weeden can get something going. Hopefully it's not a snooze fest, because when Weeden was struggling, that Niners game was just terrible to watch. Next guy, Joe Webb. Can Joe Webb do better as a quarterback than he's been doing? Because, yes, he did have that game-winning drive against the Niners, but Joe Webb is not a good quarterback, man. He's just not. He can't throw the football accurately. I do see Joe Webb making the team, however, as the third quarterback and as a special teamer. But can Joe Webb show some improvement? I don't know. Hopefully he can. And then, of course, you got that backup secondary. Its backup secondary hasn't been looking good at all. D. Virgin is terrible. Johnson Batamosi is just a special teamer. He has no business being out there. The Texans need a fourth corner, a corner that will step in case someone gets hurt or dinged up during the game. Texans don't have that. And to make things worse, Josh Thornton, the star from preseason week 1, looks like he suffered a season-ending injury. The Texans waived him and are planning on putting him on IR if he clears waivers. The Texans signed Bryce Jones, another corner who was with them the past season. So, look out for the backup corners, because we clearly need some help in the secondary department when it comes to depth. So, that's all I really have for you guys today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.